It is the middle of April and it's time for another Q&A. I've been doing these about monthly or so far this year, and I actually kind of like it, so I think I'm gonna keep up with that schedule. I posted this photo on Instagram asking if you had any questions for me, but just in case, I'm also gonna be answering some of the more common ones from Twitter and Facebook. Rampeace asks, can you live without games and internet for a week? Now, I'm gonna be alright without video games for a week, okay? I can do that one. But to be without internet for an entire week, I mean, I know the correct answer here is to say yes, but I'm not gonna deny it. I would probably have a pretty tough time. From where do you get the wallpapers of your video thumbnails? So most of the thumbnail images I use are just simply artwork from the game that I am playing. So if you, for example, Google for Starcraft 2 media, you will be taken to the official website and there will be tons and tons of wallpapers right there. So that's really where most of them come from. If a team offered you an opportunity to be a professional Starcraft 2 player, would you do it? Okay, so here's the thing, right? The main thing is that for most of the professional gamers, they will spend day in and day out grinding up the ladder and playing custom games just to try and win a tournament a couple of months in advance. Only to travel to that tournament, and for the vast majority, they obviously will not end up winning. And I don't think that's very enjoyable. I don't think I would see myself doing that for fun. What I do enjoy doing is creating content for the video games that I'm playing. So either be it a live stream or of course making the YouTube videos, I love doing that day in and day out. Because of course I start off the day with nothing and at the end of the day I've created something that I'm proud to share online. How many languages do you speak and how did you learn them? So in the Netherlands we go to school and most of the people here in school will be able to speak Dutch fluently, right? But on top of that, outside of the Netherlands, not a whole lot of people will speak Dutch. I mean, there's a couple of countries, but for the most part, Dutch is not a very common language. So for that very reason, we get a ton of languages in school. For example, the ones that I had myself, first off, I had English, I had Dutch, of course. Then we also had Latin, Greek, French, German, and Spanish. Now, I didn't take Spanish as a class, but the option was there. But I can probably hold a conversation in Dutch, English, German, and French. Zervin is asking, how is content creating life going so far? So as you may be aware, a couple of months ago, I made the decision, or really about a half year ago already, I made the decision to do this whole thing full time. I mean, once again, I get to go ahead and do basically what I enjoy doing every single day. And sure, there are days where you may not feel as motivated. I mean, I get those just as much as the next person. But on the whole, I really have nothing to complain about. Lowko, what are your thoughts on bunker build time? Definitely needs a nerf or a buff, one of the two, but it definitely needs to be changed by about 5 seconds. Nick asks, kan je deze vraag in het Nederlands voorlezen, gewoon zodat de niet-Nederlanders in de war raken? Tuurlijk man, geen probleem. Starcraft 3 wishlist? Question mark. Ooh, I like this question a lot. So first off, I think we need to settle whether or not they're currently working on a Warcraft 4 or Starcraft 3 or something entirely different. What we do know is that a bunch of the top tier developers over at Blizzard Entertainment recently left either Heroes of the Storm or the Starcraft 2 development team to work on an unannounced title. Names such as, for example, Dustin Browder, we've got Jason Huck, and then also David Kim, who recently moved over, but I'm sure there's gonna be more if you do a little bit of research. Well, let's just say they're currently working on StarCraft 3, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be Warcraft 4 or something completely different, but say it's StarCraft 3, what would I like to see? Alright, so first off, I would like it to be fully accessible to pretty much everything by it being free to play. I know there's a ton of downsides to it, but I would love it if people could just simply download the game and start playing it. Secondly, I think the game should have a very casual approach. So even if you've never played RTS before, it should be something that you can pick up and actually be reasonable at. It should be something that you can easily learn, but that is very difficult to master. Of course, if I can say anything I would like to, I would love to see a fully fleshed out campaign, fully fleshed out co-op, fully fleshed out multiplayer, and of course a proper 1 versus 1. Now also with the 1 versus 1, I think it should be a casual approach first, but once again a very high skill ceiling. I think one of the things that scares people away from StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 as it is that it's just very complicated. It's just a very difficult game to get started in, because let's be honest, if you were to pick up StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2 right now, you're gonna be kinda terrible at the game for the first couple of months. Now I know a lot of people ask if there should be more than 3 races. I personally don't think there should be any more than 3. Protoss, Terran, and Zerg works just fine for me. I would love to see a proper spectating mode. I would love to see a proper Twitch, YouTube integration. I want to see proper social features right from the get-go. Proper arcade as well, where people can actually publish maps and even potentially sell them to other people if you want to. I would love to see skin support right off the get-go, a lot of voice packs, and all kinds of other, like, cosmetic purchasables, I suppose. Whereas maybe also their campaigns should be something that you can pick up for, you know, say 20 bucks as well. Other than that, when it comes to actual, like, 1 versus 1 gameplay, which is probably why you asked this question, I would love to see something a little bit more basic, I suppose. Over the last couple of weeks on the live stream, I've been playing quite a bit of Starcraft Brood War, and I'm still absolutely terrible. But one of the things that is pretty obvious is that Starcraft 2 has got a lot of additional spellcasters and spells, it feels like. I mean, the base units of Starcraft 1 are a lot more bare bones and a lot more basic, but they also feel a little bit more enjoyable in a certain way. Basically what I'm trying to say is that we probably wouldn't want to get to a game where you've got like a gazillion different spellcasters and basically the core units in the game sort of lose their value as well as their, I guess, their fantasy. Anyway, I'm no game developer or game designer myself, so I can't really answer that question properly, but if you have any ideas, let me know down below in the comments. I would love to read your thoughts. Have you been or do you think you will be affected by YouTube's current crisis? One of my favorite YouTubers said that you could have lost up to 90% of your income. As you may be aware, over the last couple of weeks, there's been a bit of YouTube drama. A lot of big companies decided to pull all of their ads off of the website, and basically the total revenue drop on YouTube has been pretty significant. I personally also most definitely noticed a pretty substantial ad revenue loss over the last couple of weeks. But here's the thing, it basically always goes like that though. Like, the YouTube income graph, I guess it always goes up and down in peaks and valleys, and at the end of the year it's really high, and at the beginning of the year it's very low because of the holidays, right? Early on into the years, advertisers don't really advertise a whole lot because people aren't really spending their money, whereas at the end of the year, when the holidays are around, everyone is spending as much of their income as they possibly can, right? Then again, it is a pretty substantial drop-off these last couple of weeks, so, you know, it does leave me a little bit worried, but luckily for me, I still get all of the support that I get on Patreon as well as on Twitch, and basically all of the support from you guys outside of YouTube as well, which is great. How much thought do you give to the sustainability of what you currently do full-time, and do you have any plans for what you might do if streaming games, be it Starcraft or otherwise, no longer becomes profitable enough to support your lifestyle? That is a well-worded question right there, Nick. I get this question quite a bit. I think it mostly stems from the idea that the whole YouTube and Twitch situation that we currently have is something that will disappear within the next couple of years. I think that mostly is due to the fact that it's still a relatively new medium, but when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, I mean, YouTube is now the most visited website on the planet. I highly doubt that it's going anywhere anytime soon. And if it were to go anywhere, I'm sure a suitable competitor would come along as well to basically just continue this whole business too. One thing I guess I can tell you is that it's very difficult to predict where YouTube and Twitch are going to be, say 10, 15, 20 years from now, right? And I personally have no idea. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, they didn't even exist in the first place. I just simply want to try and make really fun content. I enjoy starting the day with nothing and ending with a fun finished product that I can share online. And as it is right now, YouTube and Twitch are most definitely the best mediums to go ahead and do so. If one day a day comes along where I can no longer sustain myself with what I currently do right now, which I don't really see happening for at least another 5 to 10 years, but maybe I'm crazy, who knows, I will most definitely start something else. I've got a ton of different ideas that I would love to execute too, that I currently just simply don't really have the time for. Well, that's gonna be it for me for today. I hope it answered some of the questions that you may have been having as well. I'm actually kind of curious right now though, what would your wishlist be for StarCraft 3? Let me know down below, I would love to hear your thoughts. Other than that, I want to thank you for watching, have an amazing day, do not forget to smile, alright, and happy Easter.